allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Okay, Les.
Okay, now that is only, you've got in front of you is only if the money is rolled over that was left over from last year.
So what he's referring to would be when we do the transfers, into his, equipment fund, sheriff's equipment fund.
And so how much is that gonna be that rolls over?
We don't know, right now it's at 59,000, but there's gonna be some, what do you call it, again, encumbrances coming out of it.
And I think that was like 4,000 to 5,000,
So that will make up the difference for the vehicle, which as you see, I'm going to go get a loan on it. I've checked on the loans. This way, instead of leasing, when we're done with it, it's ours. It's not, you give it back to them in 3 years. And the payments are gonna be the same. Actually, they're gonna be a little bit cheaper, I think, than what it would be to lease it. So I've already been to the banks and talked to them, and they're good with it. Keeps the budget down. So, and that additional fuel cost, rolling that over, that's why we were I still kept the decreases on the line items that I took a decrease on. And we just refigured on some for the fuel, new fuel item, but if that gets rolled over, that should hopefully take care of everything else.
So do you think you will trade a vehicle?
Yes.
Get a new vehicle?
Yes, I'm gonna trade it, either hopefully we can trade it or sell it outright. That's another thing. If we do a sell, I'd like to be able to take the money we make off of it and put it back on the loan, not just throw it in the general fund. Pay off.
No, we want you to do that.
Okay.
And then as you can see, I went through and re-penciled all of the personal services. So he's gonna leave the personal services the same, he's just gonna have to be very mindful of, overtime and keep track of all of that. I did have a discussion with him this morning. One thing that's, killing the overtime right now is the 0.25 is coming in early, staying 15 minutes late for shift change. So we discussed that. But I did run a report also to show like how many hours of overtime we're looking at with the 12-hour shifts versus the 8. I'm gonna really dive into the 12 versus 8 to see what's most beneficial. But I truly believe that the 12-hour shifts have cut down on a lot of the overtime. Because we're spending we're paying out about 113.17 hours of overtime each month. And that's standard, like each month. I went back several months, and that's not a lot, because if you think about every other week, they're getting about 8 hours, so each person's getting about 16 hours of overtime a month, and that's not bad at all. So,
Well, it's actually got rid of a complete employee.
Well, we had another one that hired, but she backed out the last minute, because we needed another dispatcher. So,
Make things more efficient.
well, and then we're gonna probably look at maybe going back to 8-hour shifts if we have to, but right now, if someone's sick, like one time we had 2 people sick at the same time. I mean, that's the time Cindy worked 24 hours. And we can't have that.
No. No, that's ridiculous.
No,
Any idea what the new one's gonna cost for you?
for the salary.
New vehicle?
Oh, new vehicle, we're looking at, about 64,000 for a new vehicle.
Plus then putting all the other stuff on it, and
That's included on one bid that we got, it's on a pickup. So as far as to keep the budget down, I decided to go the route of the loan, just because like I said, I'd have to increase it by 65,000 to do that. So I figured this is the way to go. I think it only increased by what, $1,400, I think.
yeah, so.
By doing it, if you roll it over. Like I said, this is all contingent on if you roll over that money that's left.
I don't have any problem with rolling over for it, so yeah.
it's better than 80,000, that's for sure.
Okay, let's get anything else.
Nope, that's it.
We'll talk everything over.
All right, thank you, Eric.
Thank you.
I did talk to, I did talk to Marcy, the library, she said her budget's gonna stay the same, she doesn't have to, she's been super swamped with kids. So she said hers is staying the same, she did it to me by today. I guess the only other budget in question was the fair board. The fair board.
So we talked, Joe, he said it was, that's all part, try to keep it the same.
Keep it the same.
Well, we're good with that. And I guess we'll just have to play the game. I really feel like, there should be some way to get some community grant stuff for them guys. I mean, honestly.
Sure, there should be that.
Yeah, when you look at what fair, it brings people in, but it also helps Cameron's and every place else with gas and beer and all that other stuff that affects the county. It's a favor, we bring people in. That's really one of our only tourism things that we have to bring people in. So I feel like we need to make sure it works. And so.
Yeah, and that's why we give them so much.
Well, that is fun. It is, but.
No. I know.
So do we know if the fair board is gonna be the same fair board next year? It's gonna be pretty much the same.
What do I know?
Right.
I do think they've gotten a couple of new ones since last year. I don't remember if Sam Nicholson was on it last year or if she joined right afterwards. I mean, they've gained a few more for sure, but.
I think, look, one of those things too, that they need to stay on long enough to learn how to play the game and get better at it. We need to go when we can, but I'm good with that.
As far as increases, all the other increases, I really think they need to try to keep their original budgets from last year, and if they can't, they can come in and ask for something to be taken out of county general. I'm not in favor of increasing the budgets this year, because I think that we do, that is gonna put the county in a worse position, and then next year, I mean, we're not talking about county positions.
The one we'll have to raise it, the students can crazy.
Yeah, I think
Class.
those ones-
Yes.
I thought the ones that we talked about the other day, I thought we already agreed to send them.
Yeah, that was just
No,
crazy,
that was
just the crazy. The one that was increased, right?
It didn't affect taxpayers at all.
Right.
Yeah, the mix doesn't affect taxpayers, so the one that doesn't affect taxpayers, yeah, I can probably see that. But if you wanna, I think that everybody, if they want extra, they should come in, ask for extra. Honestly,
After the fact, they got a county general in.
if they can't make their budget work, yeah. with their
You're
old
gonna have the appraisers, I mean, she's gonna have to read,
Razor's gonna,
it's good.
for the
budget.
schooling, yeah, she's no choice, I mean, she's gonna train.
Yeah.
Everybody has to go.
Well, I don't have a problem with going to school with them. Like I
I
said.
mean, it's classic, that she's gonna have to be a her.
And I understand that, but I think it should be taken out of, like a special county general thing, as the fact occurs. I'm just not fine with
It'd be a one-year
increasing budgets.
thing.
I know, I'm just not fine with increasing budgets because the,
So what about, like, my increase was longevity? I mean, that's something we can't really get around.
I know, but everybody has, I mean, all of us. But my point is, we're gonna make cuts. The county's struggling, people are struggling bad. I mean, go look at Main Street.
But in the end, I think it's gonna benefit us if she gets her.
I agree with that, but yeah, I think that it should be, a circumstance like that should be.
What if we, because we're not really approving anything until the man sends back the numbers anyway, right?
Yeah, we can see.
Right.
So once he brings it back and we look at the R&R and see all the rest of that stuff, and then we probably need to start thinking about where that stuff
For sure. Well, yeah, I know, and that's what I'm saying. If we keep on increasing the county budget as a whole, then we're gonna have to start cutting jobs. That's the only thing we can do. I mean, honestly. We're not competitive with counties right now. We're not, as far as tax rate. How are we gonna get businesses to come in here? How are we gonna get, people to invest in Graham County if they can do a county beside us and pay half tax? I mean, it's just, we're just in a downward spiral. We're on our support. I'm being honest, we're on my support. All I hear from people is they don't know how they're gonna be able to pay their taxes. They're gonna have to get a loan to pay their taxes. And our tax rate has to,
Well,
at least we have to stabilize it. At least stabilize it.
well,
Well, we are, we made the last few years, we made big improvements because it was going up tremendously each year. And the last few years, we've stayed.
Right, and as far as county goes, it looks like we're doing our part. There's a lot of other people that pay county, that take taxes out from, they come here, but they all go elsewhere, like the schools and all of those other places that we look at that have an effect on their taxes too. It's not just county taxes that cause the problem.
I know that,
Until they all,
but the county taxes is our problem.
right,
And that's us. We can't do anything about the school. We can't do anything about the city. That's it. But we can do stuff for the people we're gonna represent. We can do that for good. That's us.
This is true. But we can't completely stop everything and expect it to be the same and still get all the other stuff. You still got money that still has to go out somewhere because things have increased. And that's increased for everything.
Sure.
From me having to pay my stuff, to you paying your stuff, to me paying my taxes because everything else is gone up. So we can't just say that.
But the tax base has gone down. And government should reflect that. That's what I'm saying. It's not like we're a county that's growing, we're a county that's shrinking. And the tax base is shrinking. And the only way to make up for that is to charge people way more taxes. Even when we keep the budget exactly the same amount, people's taxes are still going up considerably. Because the tax base is lower. And what I'm saying is, the more we continue down this path, the worse it's gonna get. I mean, the less competitive we're gonna be.
I'm not sure I completely agree with that, because competitive stuff comes with having opportunities. And if we stop.
Exactly, that's my whole point. You're
Right.
not gonna have an opportunity if you can't get business to come here, big business.
Well, we have to be able to show that we're growing in one aspect or another. So.
And you're not gonna be able to do that with continuing to increase the other and charge more
I get
taxes.
with that.
I don't feel we're increasing, I think we just leave it here, look at it, we still change it for later.
Yeah, that's what I say. So let the man do the numbers with the trick numbers, and then we can see what we really do. Because I mean, that's the guy that knows more than we do about where the money really is that guy up there, Mason Mills.
Yeah.
And then we can say, no, we need to cut this, we need to cut that. I'm with you 100%. I don't want to increase taxes. But, I mean, some of that just has to be. It's not really increasing taxes because we still have the money that is coming in. We're not making, it's not gonna increase the mill levy, hardly any, to increase those little ones that we have done.
And my point is, the village is gonna go up, even when we keep the budget exactly the same. The village is still gonna go up, because there's less.
We'll see how much.
There's less we put into all of that. Yeah, so that's my point. Taxes are gonna go up every year we keep the budget the same. Taxes are going up every year still, because there's less, unless we get more people to come here. But we can't do that when they're burdened so much.
Look at it, too, it shows, from there.
Yeah, we can do that.
Good. I agree. Very cool.
Okay.
Okay. So you're all in agreement that I can send all of these off to John Mason Millers to be prepared and presented to us in July to then make changes if needed,
Yes.
correct?
That's fine.
Good. Thank you, fellas. I agree.
Okay. So we want to make a motion to adjourn?
Awesome.
I second that.
Yeah.